Okay, let's continue with expanding the functionality of our physical slider thingy. One thing we could start out with. Let's do that. Now we are implementing specific stuff for a slider. And that means that a slider has a specific sound, maybe a specific way of feedbacking information to the user that is being used and so on, which is specific for this one. So it's perfectly, completely specific for this one. So we're going to put our implementation of how it's going to act on this one based on the events that we get from the base classes. In this case, it's right now it's only the mover that's sending events. So the first thing we can add to this is a sound, or some kind of a sound. We have two things that we can actually work with right now. One of them is when we grab it, the handle, and one is when we get a minimum or a maximum. So these two things we could react to. And now that I think about it, we also have another thing that we haven't talked about at all yet. And that is the updating of the component value itself, which we should actually, let me just backtrack a little bit and start out by handling that first. So if we have a look first in the BP mover, just need to make sure that I have things where I want them to be. Yes. So here we make sure that we have our value claimed, and then we delegate the minimum and maximum events. Just gonna make sure that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you can see down to event dispatches here. Okay, that's cool. Okay. Right. So on the physical slider, so this is a slider, and we know it's only going to be moving. A slider, physical slider, is only going to be moving in one direction. It's always going to be moving in the x-axis, because that's the way it's set up. And that means that in order to determine the value of our mover, we can do that by overriding the event tick. We need to make sure that we call the parent here. Let's see, because we need to be careful now. This is taking the value and then it's clamping the value afterwards and then delegating the minimum and maximum. So in this case here, we actually need to execute the parent tick at the end also. In order to not have too many crisscrossing lines in between here, I'm actually going to just make a wrapper, call it pre-parent tick, like this, which we're just going to call here. So that way, if we need to dump in tons of stuff in here, which I hope we do not, because it's a tick event and we should keep it at a minimum, but then it's not going to pollute the look of this delta second going all the way. We could also get delta seconds and just plug that in here. That would be totally doable as well. But this way you could also have a post like this, and then you could call that afterwards if you wanted to and you needed to, you know. You can also just dump everything in here and just pretend nothing. now I've shown it to you guys so you can decide what to do with it. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to do it this way. So we need to figure out what the value is going to be. So this is going to be the result of this when we come out here. And the physics, no, the static mesh component has a position. But the thing is, it has a relative position, and we could normally just read that out, but since it's a simulating physics object, then once you set it to simulate physics, it's getting detached from its parent. So that means that get relative location, this is going to give us the relative location to the world, because it's not being detached. It was detached the moment that we set it to simulate physics. So this is not going to work, but we still need the relative transform, or the location relative to our actor. And it's pretty easy to get just by getting the actors transform. Get actor transform, and then we can use this inverse transform location of the world location of this static mesh component. So this is going to give us the relative location to the actor. So you see, this gives us, takes a world space and makes it a local space. And again, since we are only moving this in the x-axis, then this is going to be our value actually. So it's that easy, really. What we should do here is just to play around a little bit with it, maybe. I'm just thinking if I should just skip this or not. What should I do? Oh, what? Well, I'm going to do it. So on the BP physical tracker, we are going to add in a text render, and we're going to parent that under the static mesh component, and we're going to align it up with the text render. Why is it over here? Oh, and we need to rotate it. -90°. Let's center it, and let's make the font size like 10 or so. And drag it up here. Like this. So on event tick, we want to set the text render text to be equal to the value, converted into or rounded into an integer, and then converted into a text. Yeah, text. And that's basically what we want to do here. We don't want all the decimals and all that stuff. So right now it says -5. Did I not set a limit? I did. Oh, there's a problem here. The beam mesh is blocking all dynamics, so it's gonna try and push things away. -5. I wonder how it's becoming -5. 0. -4. Interesting. There's something throwing it off. Is it because I don't get it? I don't get them. The other ones destroyed. I do. Destroy, destroy, and destroy. The minimum, the maximum, and this one. Seems to be something that is pushing it away. I got something wrong. Right, I got something wrong. First of all, we don't have limit on. Ah, now it's 0. There we go. I don't know what is going on with that. Oh, you can see actually it's being pushed out now. So there's definitely something colliding with it. And now we can't move it. Physical constraint. This is set. Mesh. Did I not set this to no collision? No? Oh, something else I said. I think it was maybe the physical material or something. Okay. Odd. So now you can see it's showing the value. And we can move it all the way to 100 and then it stops, and we can throw it back to the other end and then it stops. So this is starting to look pretty good, and I don't know what's going on with that. Oh yeah, it's the hand. I need to fix that. I'm gonna do that. It's nothing you need to look at me do, but it's just a problem with the collision of something I just changed. So let's add in another thing here. I wanted to play a sound when we hit the minimum and the maximum. So on this physical tracker bar, which is one of the placeables, we want to add this kind of functionality. So I'm going to add in an audio. Sorry, and I'm going to add in another audio. And this one I'm going to call the add minimum audio and add max audio, like that. It just happens so that I have a few sounds in here. So we have a switch off and I have a switch on. Sound. And I can't remember where I found it, somewhere on the internet, on some free site. So I guess I can't remember what license details I had, but so yeah, I better not distribute any of these, but you can find your own switch sounds. So what we just need to do now is to type in mover at minimum, event mover at minimum, this one from the iMovable actor, and mover at max. No. Like this. And then drag in the minimum audio and hit play. And do the same for the maximum. Like this. And then we should have sound on whenever we hit minimum and maximum. Notice that we didn't have a sound coming. Oh, fucking hell. We didn't have a sound when we started. Oh, and maybe that's because I don't have any sound on. There we go. Oh, fuck. We do have a sound on. Oh, I'm gonna fix that. So there we go. That's very satisfying. There we go. So we can just hook these things up. That's the beauty really of this way, because once you now want to start build your things, you can just plug in stuff at your events, and then everything is just gonna work. And as you can see, the implementation of the stuff that you're going to do on the placeable level is going to be really, really simple, like super simple, because all the base logic is going to be hidden away inside the base class here, and we're not going to have any special overhead really of having unnecessary stuff. So the relevant things are hidden away in the relevant subclasses or base classes. Let's see, what else did I want to do? Oh yeah, I wanted to fix this initial sound, because at the beginning that will be at begin play probably. We want to actually do the same as we do here in the delegate minimum and maximum. We want to copy these two lines here of sections, and then go to begin play and oopsies. Oh my fuck god. Plug it in here and say if I'm gonna just do it like this, is at minimum is equal to this, and is at maximum is equal to this. And that way we're gonna get these two variables populated on begin play, and that way we should avoid hearing that initial sound. So we can plug that in here as an extra pin to the begin play. So if we now hit play, oh, we still hear it. Oh my god, why do we do that? Oh, I forgot something. Did I? Is at minimum closed. What did I miss? If this is true, then we are at minimum and we should start closed. And tech. You know what? There's no need for me, for you guys to look at me, look at this. Oh, actually, I just figure out what it is. It is actually not coming from them. Yeah, fuck, it is. Damn it, damn it. Something else. Is it both of them playing? Huh? Oh, yeah, yes. Move at minimum, move at max. How can they both play? I don't get this. Apparently, this is false. Oh, I get it. I set the value to 50. So now it doesn't say anything. But the thing is, it's not starting at 50. So that was the problem really. So if I do set it to 50, we also need to set the position to be where it is actually supposed to be at. Oh, I hate when I do that. Okay, begin play. Begin play. This is a parent event tick, and in this case, we need to set it at begin play, and we should hide this stuff away inside the physical slider. There's no need to put that on the physical trackbar because this is going to be the same for every thing coming from the physical slider thingy. So we can put this stuff in here and say something very similar to this, just the opposite way actually. We need to set the world location of the static mesh to be coming from the value where we make a vector out of this, and then we take the actor's transform, and then we transform the location here. Location, and this is going to give us a world space vector. So we're transforming this into world space relative to our actor, which is this, yeah, same actor. So now when we look at it, it should be in the middle. It is in the middle. I don't know if you can see that, but it is 50%, and it didn't say click. Where's my hand? And now it says look. Yes, it is working very nice. That was what I wanted to show in this video. We can continue next and add the little tick sounds. We don't have any means of that doing that right now, but you know, like this track bar thingy does have. We're gonna make it a little bit different because this one actually jumps. So you can see the mouse, when it passes a certain threshold, it jumps to the next one. We're going to make something similar to this, but a tiny bit different still. But that's something for the next video. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.